So how to make money in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin? If this is what your question is, then this video is for you. Now, before we understand how to make money in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, we have to first know what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are. Does that make sense? Absolutely, right? So we'll understand what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are, how are they different from the current monetary system, current money that we have, and what does the future look like, right? And how can you invest? How are other people making money into this? So we'll get into all those topics. Now, before we get into that, a disclaimer. This video is only for information and education purpose. This is not a financial or investment advice. Please always do your research before investing into any cryptocurrencies. If you want more information on how different cryptocurrencies work, you should go ahead and check this channel out. There are tons of content on this channel which will help you decide which cryptocurrency you should invest and how you should invest. Now let's get into the topic. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a digital cryptocurrency. Now the key word here is cryptographic. Now why do I say that? Everything nowadays is digital. I mean, you use WhatsApp, you send images, you send video, everything is digital, right? But it's not cryptography. So what does the cryptography do? Cryptography saves a data, or it protects a data, it secures a data from duplication. That means it cannot be duplicated. So the money cannot be duplicated. You would know that money should never be duplicated, but you see these duplicate notes, you see this duplicate thing, right? So duplicates will, so that's a very bad thing. The money should not be duplicatable, and that is why it is a cryptocurrency. That means it cannot be duplicated. So what is the feature of the cryptocurrency? The cryptocurrency is allowed you to send money and receive peer-to-peer, person-to-person. That means there is no intermediary required. In today's money that you have, you always have a bank. Unknowingly, knowingly, you might not know, but you're always using a bank. You're swiping your card, you're doing a transaction with a merchant, you're using Visa or a MasterCard, which is a third party, and you're using a bank. So it's a transaction between you and the bank and the merchant. It's not a transaction between you and the merchant directly. See, it's never a direct transaction. It's always through intermediaries. Even if I have to transfer some money to you, it always has to go through a bank. So there is an intermediary, which is a bank here. Cryptocurrencies allows you to send money directly without an intermediary, just like you can send an email directly to anyone without an intermediary, right? So cryptocurrencies removes the intermediaries. Second, there are only 21 millions of Bitcoin in total as per the protocol. Now, why there is a 21 million? How does that work? We will not get into it. That's a very technical stuff. But understand there are only 21 millions Bitcoin that can ever be in total. And as you can see, as per the economic, less demand, more demand, less supply, the price goes up. And that's one of the reasons you've seen the price going up over the last 10 years, right? So there are only 21 millions of Bitcoin. Third is, let me just make a note. Yeah, verification. So how does the verification happen? So when I send some Bitcoin to you, you send some Bitcoin to me, how does the verification? Well, in the banking system, we know that when I have to send some money, the bank have all the ledgers. Bank have your ledger, bank have my ledger, bank have everything. And bank looks into the ledger, says, oh, okay, this guy has money. Okay, he's trying to transfer the money to him. Okay, transfer, done, right? So who is verifying the transactions? Bank. Now, in this case, like I said, there is no intermediary. So who is actually verifying the transaction? Well, the system itself. So Bitcoin is a protocol which is self-governed, right? So there is something called as miners. So you must have heard about Bitcoin mining, right? So these miners are nothing but running a system, running a computer, which actually looks into the ledger and verifies the transaction without knowing your name or my name. They just verify the transaction, verifying the wallet, right? So how does the verification takes place in Bitcoin? It takes place through miners. And why do miners verify? Because miners gets rewarded new Bitcoin, right? So this is how the transactions gets verified. Now, so there is not just one cryptocurrency, there are many other cryptocurrencies. Now you might ask, there are only 21 millions Bitcoin, what about Ethereum, what about other cryptocurrencies? So yes, all the other cryptocurrencies also have different applications. For example, let's take an example of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is when there is a transaction that can place with Bitcoin, but what if you have a transaction which is attached with the condition. Now we do not live in a very simple world, so there are so many transactions which happen through a condition. So for example, on every first of month this money should go, or maybe if I don't board the flight, my money should be refunded. Now these things cannot be done with Bitcoin, and this can be done, but this can be done on Ethereum network. Why? Because Ethereum has a smart contract feature. So in simple words, a transaction attached with a condition is what is provided by Ethereum. So Bitcoin does a simple transaction, but Ethereum does some complex transaction, and there are other cryptocurrencies as well. So all these other cryptocurrencies ideally should have its own use cases, right? So then you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, you have EOS, there are so many other. So in case you want to check all the cryptocurrencies that exist today in the world, you should go ahead and check out coinmarketcap.com. And on coinmarketcap.com, you have all the currency listed. Now understand, not all the cryptocurrencies have any value today. There are only top few cryptocurrencies which actually have value. So it makes sense for you to actually look from the investment point of view in those and not really all of them, right? Again, this is just my personal opinion. So this is why these cryptocurrencies exist. Now, how do you make money? Let's come back to the question. How do you make money out of it, right? So the simplest way, and this is what most people follow, is buy them and hold them. So what do I mean? You buy them on exchange and keep them with you. Hold is keep them with you. And so where do you buy them, right? So it depends on which country are you in. So let's say if you're in India, there are exchanges like ZebPay, UnoCoin, CoinEx, CoinDelta. If you're in US, there are exchanges like Coinbase, GDAX, and then there is Gemini, right? So all these countries have their own exchanges running, which you can. So the way you buy it is go onto the exchange, open an account, verify your bank account, your personal details, right? So it's basically called a KYC. Do your KYC on these exchanges, and then that's it. And then you're ready to buy and sell. So you can buy any amount of Bitcoin that you want. You can sell any amount. It's highly liquidable, right? There are people, it's not that you bought it, now you cannot sell it. No, you can sell it anytime you want by going on that exchange, right? So this is how people make money. And the way the price goes up is because when you hold it, let's say when you bought Bitcoin, if you're not selling it off over 1 year, over 2 years, the price goes up. And that's how people make money out of it. Now let me see if there's anything else to cover. Exactly. Now another thing is I want to cover is adoption, right? So what is the guarantee that the prices will keep going up? There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. It all depends on the adoption, right? For example, internet. When internet started in 1990, 1999, nobody was using internet, right? But now everybody is using internet, right? So similarly, Bitcoin, there are only few people who are using Bitcoin who know the potential of it. But we hope that in future Bitcoin will be mainly adopted. Why? Because it removes the intermediary. It helps the direct transaction peer-to-peer, and it is dynamic in nature. So the adoption, like how internet has been adopted, like Google has been adopted. Now one thing that you do need to know, that Bitcoin is not a company. Bitcoin is not like Google. Bitcoin is not like Facebook. Bitcoin is like an internet. No one owns Bitcoin protocol. No one owns internet, right? So it's a new era. You must also about the blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is nothing but a distributed public ledger, immutable, which nobody necessarily owns the data. For example, Facebook, if I ask you who owns the Facebook, you will say that all the data is owned by Mark Zuckerberg, right? But in Bitcoin, not a single person who owns the data, so there is no one who can manipulate. It's a new technology, just like internet. How do you make money? What's the guarantee? It purely depends on the adoption. As more and more people realize the value of Bitcoin, see the value in Bitcoin, they start using it, the price will go up, and thus resulting in a higher price. And this is how you make money. I hope this was helpful. If you have any question, put this in the comment box below. There are tons of content that I have on this channel. If you're new, go ahead, watch out all those contacts. If you still don't find an answer to your question, put that in the comment box below. I'll be more than glad to answer you. Let me know if there is any specific topic that you want me to make a video on. And of course, if you're new, subscribe, press that bell icon, and I'll see you in the next video.